My hope is that it will not deliver any gifts to us on Earth, in the sense that something that we don't want it to do, because it has a lot of it has 9 anomalies. The most recent ones are from yesterday. It came closest to the sun on October 29th, a couple of days before Halloween. And it became extremely bright, much faster than any other comet that is known to us. So its brightness rose very rapidly recently. And moreover, we see it being bluer than the sun. It appears to various observatories that are moving around the sun as if it's bluer than the sun, which is really an anomaly. We don't know how that is possible. And then there was also nickel with very little iron coming off it, the way that the industrial production of nickel alloys makes such constituents. And we've never seen that in nature. So the question is whether that's a technological signature. And there was also a glow from the object extended towards the sun during July and August that was 10 times longer than it is wide, sort of like a jet. So all kinds of anomalies that we don't understand, and we should keep an open mind. Just yesterday, it for the first time showed a deviation from a trajectory that was supposed to be dictated by gravity alone. So the question is, was that the result of a propulsion system or some very massive evaporation of this object? I calculated that it should have lost at least a sixth of its mass as it came close to the sun, if this non-gravitational acceleration was a result of cometary evaporation. So in the coming month, it should be really interesting if we see a very massive cloud of gas around it. Then we can say, okay, well, that's a comet being evaporated. However, if we don't see the very massive cloud of gas, then maybe it's something else.
Right. Now, a couple of things real quick before you go. I know that it had this, like you said, this gas or this flow or something coming out of the front.
Right.
Do you think that was for like slowing it down as it approached the sun?
Probably not, because we haven't seen it changing course. There were 4,000 data points from 227 observatories on Earth. And I studied them with 2 of my colleagues, and we found that during the 5 months preceding the closest approach to the sun, it didn't change course. It just followed the path that was expected. Only yesterday there was a report for the first time that it's changing course, and so it's not clear what if it's indeed designed by some intelligence out there. It's not clear what the purpose of that was, and if this intelligence is higher than ours, then obviously we behave as ants in the crack of a pavement looking at a biker that passes by. We can't really figure out what it's all about, but that's the beauty of getting more data on it in the coming months, so that we can learn something. And it's really fascinating. And there is a huge interest in the public. For example, the podcast with Rogan got 1.5 million views within 2 days.
Wow.
So this subject is of great interest, and I heard from a lot of parents that told me that their kids are now excited to become scientists as a result of watching all these discussions about 3I Atlas.
That's incredible. And okay, and just one last question. So this is incredible. This is just mind-boggling how this now this object is obviously, so it's going to move. Is it going to go around the sun and then go ahead back out into, do we know the trajectory of where it's going?
Yeah, so that's in case it will not maneuver. A technological object like a spacecraft could maneuver, and the optimal point for it to maneuver is when it's closest to the sun. And actually, this object started displaying some maneuvering, so we don't know how it will go. But if it wouldn't deviate much from the original path, then it will come out of the solar system, very close to Mars, for example. So it came very close to Mars, and then Jupiter on March 16th. These are coincidences that are very unlikely. And there is actually a spacecraft near Jupiter that could come close to it or observe it. And I look forward for that data. Yes, there is also the coincidence that it came from the same direction in the sky where the WOW signal, the radio signal that was detected in 1977, was found. And that was an enigmatic radio signal that we never understood where it's coming from. It was inferred to come from a source approaching us. And that direction was within 9 degrees of where 3i Atlas came from. And the chance of that happening at random is 0.6%. And so I contacted a lot of radio observers and encouraged them to look at 3i Atlas. And a few days ago, I received a confirmation that they will do so. And also the Juno spacecraft around Jupiter has a radio antenna. So we will see if there is any transmission. But so far, there was no report about it.
Okay. It would be incredible because in 1977, which is, by the way, the year I moved to Florida, I was 6, turning 7 years old, when I saw something fly over my backyard that I couldn't explain as a little child. But kind of crazy that this happened in 1977. But this object or this signal was about 1,800 light years away. So if this did come from that direction and it took off around the same time we saw this, or we picked up this radio signal, they might have had FTL if it's artificial, because they would have had to clear a lot of space in a very short period of time. So many questions coming from this thing, so many incredible questions. What is this? What's going to happen? You know, is it going to use the sun and move out to deep space, or where's it going to go next? But it's an exciting time to be alive.
It is exciting, especially for the public and people who are willing to learn. But also, you know, I'm in contact with members of Congress, and because if we ever get visited, you know, we have to decide how to respond to that. It's a matter of international security, and I don't expect politicians to do much about it until the first encounter. Once we have clear evidence that we're dealing with alien technology, everything will change. And my hope is it will bring us to a better place, because we would realize that we, all humans, are in the same boat, and we better cooperate rather than engage in conflicts the way we are right now.